Hi there, this is Chicana Mama from Drawing on Spirit show. I haven't recorded in a long time, but we are here now for the first time in about a year with Ana Guadalupe Aviles,
Sí.
also known as, where you can find her on Instagram, is La Tonantzin.
Arte de la Tonantzin.
Arte de la Tonantzin. And so we're here, we've known each other for a long time. We're good friends.
Yes.
And
We were the neighbors across the
we
hallway.
We used to be neighbors and share art, wine, and, and an occasional cigarette.
Yes. Oh,
So.
I miss those days. I have 2 left.
Oh, okay. We'll see that for later. So right now we're just setting a little intention for the show. Go ahead and do your thing, Anna.
Okay, so I want to invite you to be part of my healing our space together. And in order for me to feel centered and balanced and to calm that little anxiety in me, I'm going to do a little ritual.
Okay.
And you know, these indigenous rituals do play a huge role in my paintings and my art.
Right.
So,
and we'll get to that.
Yes. So
I'm really excited to talk about
I'm
that.
excited to do this with you because I don't think we've done a circle together.
No.
And we're doing a circle right now with our paintings.
Well, not since Sanchez Gallery. I think we did some work.
Yes, we
there.
did.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to have you here today in my space. So we're gonna start with the singing bowl.
Okay.
Okay. When I do a lot of presentations at work, this is my go-to to feel better.
Okay.
Actually, let's light this some sage. I just got a nice little packet of sage from an indigenous person, Nicole.
Oh, okay.
And I just got this in the mail today. It's a gift, so I'm excited. So
And how do you use? I've never seen sage chopped up like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually I
You
don't
don't roll it up and smoke it.
No, but that'd be interesting, right? Smell it. It smells so good.
Oh yeah, smells good.
So usually I don't have any coals, but the way to do it is to put a coal in here. Okay, but I don't have any, so I'll just like take a couple of pieces like that and just light it.
And that whining you hear is the dog, Cosmo.
Yes, that's her little, my eagle feather. Smells so good.
May the ancestors come in and bless our
guide us
in
this
what to
process.
say. Yeah.
Okay, I have to put it out. I would love to keep it lit, but we live in this house that has all these fire sensors. Do you see that?
Oh, so you can't let it smoke?
Not too much, then the alarm will go off. So, this smells so good. So I'm gonna do the sinking bowl.
Wow. That's amazing.
It slowed my heart down.
I don't know if people who are listening can actually feel that, but that's amazing.
Right? It's like a vibration. It's
you
like,
feel it. Yeah, that was amazing.
thank you. So we'll put this aside. I have tobacco too, but it's for later.
I didn't bring my papers. So I'm here today and I'm going to ask Anna the same 13 questions that I've asked all the other artists but we're probably going to expound in detail on some things because Anna's art is exceptionally bright and colorful, and I think I know where we're going with this conversation, but I'm going to leave it to you to tell us more about your process and how you get your inspiration. So my first question is, describe your work, your intentions, and your goals. What do you hope to communicate to the viewer? That's probably several part question. It's kind of big. It's kind of an overall, give us a general idea.
You know, I could spend probably 8 hours on this question, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And how to put it into a nutshell, like in a quick interview, that's the intense part, I feel. But I think my goals, my intentions is, as a healer myself, just creating, it's really for me. You know, I think it's a way to communicate, put feelings and experiences, stories into a canvas, you know. And it's healing. There's a lot of healing elements within my paintings.
When you're painting an image, do you, and it's something like, say, from your childhood or from your personal experiences, is that a way for you to relive the experience or to conjure up the feeling that you had when you had that experience, or what? How do you connect with it?
I like that you're asking that, because I've been creating since I was a little girl. It was a way, it was like that mother-daughter bonding experience with my mother.
And your mother was an artist too?
She was an artist too. I come from a line of artists. And we would sit and draw all the time. Do you remember those paper dolls that you can cut up and put their little clothes?
Yeah.
Well, we would make our own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we would make our own.
With little tabs, and then
yes,
you just
aren't they so cute? So, you know, I always sat and created with her flowers or pretty images and women.
Images of women.
Yeah.
The female form.
Yeah, the divine, ¿verdad?
You didn't know it at the time, though, that you were doing that, right?
No.
Yeah. I have a similar experience, but this isn't about me.
Yeah.
But I can relate to that.
Yeah, so, you know, interesting, because it's hard for me to paint men. I can never get their faces right. Because we always drew beautiful women with long hair.
Right.
Like, you know, all those images that you see in novelas.
Yeah.
And they're all beautiful. So that's what we would draw.
Well, you know, my theory on that is that, and the reason why some paintings you'll paint over and over again, especially faces, they end up looking like you. So
and my mother.
Right. Us as artists. And I think it's because our face is the most familiar face to us.
Yes.
And so it's natural for us to put that, what we know, into our paintings.
Yeah.
So,
her face and my face.
Yes.
Right? Because we spend so much time in the mirror, you know, getting ourselves all done.
There's another artist that you and I know, Lily Quintana. Many of her paintings, I see her mother's face in the paintings. Yeah, interesting.
Right, because our moms cuddled
our
us.
Mom's face is the most familiar to us.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Right? So it's that mother bonding experience. And I do bring this kind of work into the work that I do today with the family and my clients.
So
that bonding.
So taking that fact, the fact that you're creating these female images, what do you hope to say with those images?
I think
to the viewer.
It's not about what I say. It's about how you feel when you're surrounded by it or when you're looking at it. What is your experience? How does it make you feel? Right?
Well,
what do you see? What are your interpretations? For me, is sharing myself with others. Sharing my feelings and thoughts that maybe I can't put into words.
Right.
But I can put it in color.
Right. Speaking of color, your colors, boom, stand out. Tell us a little bit about why you paint with such vibrant colors. What does it,
you know,
do for you?
the beauty of growing up in San Francisco and La Misión and going to elementaries and middle schools and schools that are just surrounded by murals. I grew up around color, and I love color. I love the color pink. I will not wear something pink, but I'll paint pink, and I'll paint my nails pink. So I love using those pink colors
And you don't,
and those happy colors.
And you don't wear pink. Why?
I don't know.
Oh, that's
I've
interesting.
never liked wearing girly things. Not like that. I don't know why. It's very interesting.
So at what point did you become aware that you were creative? You say you started painting as a little girl, started creating as a small child. And who else was painting in your family? Who else was an artist? Your mother, and who else?
My mother. My brother would draw, and I think he should take up drawing again now that he's retired. So, brother, you're gonna watch this. You need to start drawing again, because I would see him draw too.
Okay.
Drawing was just part of us.
Right.
I always took art classes in elementary, middle school, high school. In fact, I'm really good friends with one of my art teachers, with Sochi Guerrero. She was my teacher.
Oh, she was your teacher.
Yeah, when I was in high school at Street Academy.
It's interesting. We both have that connection.
Yeah, and so I saw her colors.
Yes,
vibrant and
she's
beautiful
another
and
vibrant.
spiritual.
Right.
So,
how did you feed the creativity, and were there others around you who supported that creativity? I think we've talked a little bit about your mom sitting down with you, and she also probably made sure you had supplies all the time. What things did you do? Do you do right now to feed this creativity, to get in that space to create?
okay.
What things we saw right now, you light some sage, you do your singing bowl.
So, I haven't created too much lately since my first solo show, The Divine Femenina.
And how long ago was that?
That was in 2019, 2020, like right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I created, I think, a body of 25 pieces in as little as 3 months.
Okay.
I was in spirit.
Yeah.
But since the move, I think that even creativity is how I decorate my house.
Yeah.
There's color everywhere.
There's ways to get to be creative in many ways. If it's cooking, decorating your house,
Everything.
the way you dress,
Yes.
what you choose to wear.
Someone told me that you're walking art.
Yes.
And I set up my little studio in the garage. I'll show you later. I just go in there and start painting and exploring just to keep that going. Like working on, just for instance, just like little things like this. Just exploring.
And so you just sit down and decide to paint some shapes.
Something, whatever
and
comes to
see
me.
whatever comes up.
This,
That's interesting.
I was sitting outside in front of my house.
And looking at the sunset.
Yeah, at the sunset and
capturing the
like
sun.
these little bushes. I don't know what they're called, but when they dry, they turn into tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, isn't that cute? So they cut them off. I don't know. They landscaped them, and I got a little sad, but I'm glad I captured it.
Yeah, that's
so
neat. So you captured an experience, an evening in your life.
Yes,
which is nice because now you've got that, and you can look back at that time and how it made you feel that day. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's true. I like that about paintings.
Yeah.
They tell stories, right?
And it brings you back to that space that you were in. It could even be something sad. It could bring you back to maybe grief or whatever it is you were experiencing at the time.
That's true.
So how has your work evolved over time? I know you said you had a one-woman show in Oakland at
Galeria Beso Maya.
Galeria Beso Maya on Fruitvale Avenue in Oakland. And unfortunately that
burnt down.
space burnt down, but that was a really beautiful art space, and Yadira, what's Yadira?
Yadira Casares.
Casares. She had that space and has been very influential in our community.
Very, and sad. So,
yeah.
like you said, I see this painting,
Uh-huh.
and it takes me to the happiness that we had there because community came out. It was a party.
Oh, yeah. It was great. It was great. And we seem to always kind of do that whenever we're coming together in art space. So, how has your work evolved over time then? How have you changed since you first started painting?
Well, you saw some of my, first of all, I left art alone for a long time while I was raising the kids, but I never left it alone because I encouraged their art. They're both tattoo artists, as you know.
Right.
But when they left the nest, I picked it up again. My mentor, rest in peace, Monica Silva, you know, kind of like, she just started buying me materials. Let's go shopping. Let's do this. Also, Esther Hernandez, she played a huge role in, let's do this. You got to show, you got to share, you got to show the world.
Right.
So that pushed me, but I started with pencils, color pencils, watercolor pencils, actually. That's what I started with.
So just playing around.
Just playing around on paper and then
experimenting.
Yeah, and Monica said, okay, you need to start doing acrylics. I'm like, no. So I know she gifted me some paint. Esther gave me some paint. And my sons were there. They're like, just do it, Mom. And I started, and it was challenging, but it was a beautiful thing, you know. I started with lines, then I started using acrylics, and I started exploring with colors.
And I see now you add glitter and sparkles and texture to your paintings. You've got jewelry in that one.
Yeah, it's a nipple.
Yay!
She's a little hippie Buddha.
Okay, so what are your favorite materials and why? What do you most enjoy working with? I mean, I know that you're an acrylic artist, but and you say you've tried some pencils. What other things do you use?
Like you said, texture. I've been exploring with texture. I like watercolors, using them when I go to the beach. Hence, I also grab water from the ocean itself and use it in.
So you paint with salt water.
Yes.
Interesting.
Isn't that nice?
Now, yeah, and then now.
Like this one was painted, not the lotus, but I put some acrylic over it. But some of this is all watercolor, and I dipped it in
Salt water. Now, is that a different kind of outcome? Does it act differently chemically with
I'm sorry. I haven't noticed that.
No.
I just thought it was fun and healing and
because in high school I think we did one experiment where we did watercolor and you put the watercolor on and then you sprinkle salt on it.
Oh.
And when you sprinkle the salt, it like expands like a flower out from the salt. I don't know what kind of chemical reaction is with the paint, but yeah, so there's ways that you can play around with salt and water, and I know.
Yeah, but evolved, you know, also being neighbors with you. Sometimes I'd be stuck on something. Hey, Valerie, what do I do? So that helped
asking
evolve.
other people.
And
Would you say you have a pretty strong community of artists friends?
I do, and they're all beautiful. It's all mujeres, mostly. I mean, there's beautiful men artists, you know, that have create wonderful art. I mean, Gig collects some of the art from artists in Oakland.
Yeah.
He collects the male art, I collect the women's art.
Okay.
So
that's neat.
Yadira, I think, challenged me to do this show. I said, well, I already have some paintings. She goes, no, you need new work. Oh. I was like, what? I'm going to make this happen. I made it happen. And I started exploring with these new paints. I fell in love with the Nova paints.
Oh, okay.
They're all the way in the area of LA. Gig took me.
Now,
we took a little trip and
Nova paints.
Yeah.
This is not endorsed, by the way, but what do you mean? What kind of? I've never heard of those.
Really?
No.
Oh, I'll have to show you.
Okay.
But it just goes on so beautiful, and the colors and I try mixing colors. It's really not my forte because I make a mess. So I'll just buy.
So you buy colors as they are and put them on the canvas.
And they're so awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
awesome.
a paint that is used in murals.
So Nova is your.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So is it an enamel based or is it? You know, Greg Carrillo. He used an enamel based kind of. That was a car paint and very close to acrylic, but it's got a different kind of composition and very thick when it went on and very similar to that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not enamel, but I have used nail polish on the actual nails
Yes,
before.
you have. I know.
You know that.
I know.
I'm like, ooh.
I know you are one of the most
Mhm.
ingenious. You're like the MacGyver of us local artists here. You're always using. I don't know. You go above and beyond. You know what we think of as materials to use. You kind of go out and
Shells.
yeah, I know your
Jewelry.
I think that's what I love about your artwork. It's always got pieces to it, and it's very touchable. You want to touch your artwork. Yeah.
And I like, the texture and sometimes just feeling it. It just feels so good. So you run your hand.
Yeah.
I try to paint light, but that's not me.
No, you got to
I'm
paint
like
thick. You want to put it on thick.
Yes.
So, in what ways does inspiration show up for you? Like, how do you get an idea? Let me turn this around. How do you get an idea for a painting like this? Let's see, I don't know if that can be seen.
Well,
What were you thinking of? And where did
it's
you get this?
actually a story of a
Okay.
woman. She was going through a very painful experience, pregnant, crying, and all of a sudden there was like these hummingbirds surrounding her. She had never seen a hummingbird in her life. And I think there were like 5 hummingbirds. Like each hummingbird represented her kids, except the unborn, because there was one in the belly at the time.
This is the story you are telling.
This is the
Okay.
story, and she was crying, and then when she saw all these hummingbirds, she just stopped. She was crying of joy and was smiling. Like she went from feeling pain to all of a sudden just feeling happy and beauty and surrounded by nature. Like nature became a healing element to her. Since then, she has like all these beautiful plants. It's become healing for her.
So, this story that you're telling is based on a person that you know?
Most of the time I paint people that I know. If there's something about them that I'm just attracted to, whether it's spirit, community, other healers, I think whatever inspires me. My ancestors, I've painted ancestors before, like my great uncle, my mother. It's like people that just make me also feel a certain good kind of way.
Yeah.
You know?
So you can, then let me go there. Do you feel when you meet someone, other people's energies? Are you open to feeling that goodness or badness? It could be bad, but goodness in general. You feel their energy and it makes you, and that's what inspires you, is other people's energy.
Yeah.
I would say that you are a painter of people rather than a painter of things like still life or landscape. Although I see you've got some landscape here. Your landscape is usually within the painting, but the people are the main focus.
And in almost every painting, you'll see the 4 directions.
Oh, that's nice.
It may not be explicitly there, but all the elements are there somehow, some way.
And explain what the 4 directions are.
Well, the
People
4
who don't know.
directions is oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The 4 directions is the
And this is
earth, wind,
an-
water, and fire,
Okay.
right? It's a form of healing. It's a spiritual form of healing. It's not a religion. I used to be Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic now.
Me too.
So I started doing just when I was lost, I just started looking and exploring all these various forms of spiritual practices.
When you were lost.
I was for a moment after my divorce.
So that was a low point.
Yeah.
And you turned.
Kinda. I was kind of happy though.
Okay.
But then I needed to rediscover myself.
Right.
Like, who am I? I'm not just a mother. I'm not just
Yeah.
a wife. I'm not
Right.
just a student.
You had to turn around.
I'm not just a professional. I'm Anna. I'm a
and
woman.
focus. Yeah. And
Okay.
focus on yourself.
Like, who am I? Right?
Mhm.
So I came across different various forms of spirituality. The 4 directions really intrigued me. The shamanic practices, the huichol practices. Actually got about, I have a huichol padrino.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to a spiritual artist retreat through Alejandra.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Alejandra Palos, another
Yeah,
artist friend of ours.
she's a
Who-
sculpture.
She
Sculpture.
sculpts. She sculpts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, give an example of when inspiration entered into your creative space and provided you with direction.
Well, it was during that time. Like, I used it as a form of healing for myself.
Okay.
I have some art from that time period, but I haven't shown it to anybody.
Oh, interesting.
That's kind of
Because it's
personal.
Yeah, because it was.
Pain.
Yeah. So, some people journal.
Mm-hmm.
Some people
I doodle,
write
draw,
down all
paint.
their pain and explain what it is that they're hurting from. Some people play music and bang on a drum until their hands are bleeding.
Yeah, I have journals that have like poetry.
Uh-huh.
I do write some poetry, by the way, or just verses. I love doodling and painting.
And painting in the book.
And
So
I wonder who's gonna get a hold of my journals someday.
How detailed are they?
Oh, they would be interesting.
I actually just went through 2 journals and ripped out every page.
Oh my
It
goodness.
felt so good because it was just old. It was old.
I like
stuff,
that idea.
and it felt good.
It's
and-
like healing. It's like gone.
Yeah. And they'll go to the shredder. Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Well,
was gonna-
I told my son Chewy to hold on to those someday. And don't let anybody read them.
For him to write a book.
That's right.
That
It's
is
be
fun.
like
So, how do you make room for creativity in your life? How do you what do you have set up? How do you hold space for it in your life? Do you come home? Is it just spontaneous creating, or do you specifically have a time and place set up for you to paint?
it's spontaneous.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in my little studio in the garage until like 2 a.m. Or sometimes I make it up early in the morning. It just
Right,
depends.
right.
But lately it's been spontaneous.
So then, if it's spontaneous, do you get ideas for your paintings maybe in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning?
When the
Or-
moon is out, when my shell is out,
Okay.
my beautiful moon goddess.
Okay, it's chill.
The moon goddess. So I went to go see her at Isla de las Mujeres.
Uh-huh.
That's been another pivotal point, basically.
That's an island outside
In
of
Cancun.
In Cancun, yeah, outside of Playa del Carmen, in the bay there.
It's gorgeous. It's like a must to go visit. That just really inspired. Actually, when I created the paintings for the Divine Femenina show. I had just gotten back from Cancun.
Okay.
So there's a lot of storytelling.
So that had filled you up.
That, oh my God, yes. Otherwise, how was I going to create so many? I was
Right.
just like, I had so many thoughts and feelings. I'm like,
That you needed to get out.
It was a beautiful experience.
That's wonderful.
And also, you know, it comes up because I'm a mental health clinician.
Okay.
I'm a family clinician and I work with family and children. So art is definitely part of the healing process
And you
with the
use-
children.
And you use it in your in therapy,
And therapy.
with children. Oh wow, that's awesome.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah. Do you find that children are more open? Okay, so you're dealing when you interview children or when you provide therapy to children, are their parents there?
Depending on the age.
Okay.
I think the older kids really like that individual time.
Oh, okay.
And so we use art as a healing tool.
I was just wondering whether children are more open to creating than a parent who may be judging themselves with all the adult things that we have. By the time we've grown up, we've got a lot of negative talk that gets in the way of creating, that tells us, oh, well, I can't draw. And there's no such thing. And I always tell people, there's no such thing as that. So do you find that there's a difference between the adult and the child in the ability to open up to creativity?
Well, that's part of the process. And that's part of the treatment and the healing.
How do you...
is let them go with the flow, encourage them. And I've had the cutest thing, moms that have never picked up a paintbrush in their life.
Oh, that's nice.
That is beautiful. That's that bonding
Yeah,
that I talked about, like the bonding I had with my mom.
with your mother.
So yeah, it shows up in the work. It also shows up with my love, Gig, my fiance.
Gig Anderson.
Gig Anderson.
Gig Anderson. He's on Facebook.
So when he plays with the experiment band, I paint live.
Yeah.
You've been to one of the shows.
Yes.
He challenged me. I'm like, I don't think I could do this. He goes, you're gonna do it. And I think you helped me.
Yeah,
You kind of guided me a little bit. Go do this. Yeah. So that's been fun.
That's awesome.
And there's another event coming up in October 15th where I'll be painting live. And I haven't done it in a while, so I'm a little nervous.
When you paint live, how do you focus? Okay, so you're listening to the band. How do you focus in on what do you hope to put into that painting? The energy, the music?
Oh yeah, the music, the energy. Especially when my love is kicking bass, I feel it on my heart, or the frequency of music, right? It just makes the whole body like,
it goes through you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the paint's just like,
Oh, that's awesome.
but the canvas, I do have it pre-prepped with
an image that you hope to paint, and then the matter of the spontaneity is in the color choice and the brush strokes and how detailed you can get in that period of time.
I may have in my head a specific color I'm going to use, but sometimes I just improvise. I don't have to be so linear. I could just free flow.
Yeah. So, is there a language that you've developed to talk about words, to talk about your work with patrons, people who are interested in buying your work? Is there a special language? How do you connect with someone looking at your work?
Well, so this is what I consider my work to be, because I thought about it for a while. What is it? How would I describe my work? I describe it as a kind of like a metaphysical, symbolic work.
Yes.
Right? There's all these metaphors.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of symbols.
Yes.
Okay, some of the symbols you'll see, different ones are like either the eagles, torogos, hummingbirds. You see the hummingbird there. Flowers, trees, peyotes, isotes, or other healing elements like the cauldron, like copa, right? Fire, music symbols, water, crowns, and rosaries. And I love to include a lot of, not a lot, but from time to time, a lot of indigenous symbols. Like this one, you can't, I don't know if you could tell, but there's the Virgen Guadalupe right there.
Yeah.
There's Venus. Venus has been like one of my muses ever since our trip to Italy. I just think she's a beautiful, powerful symbol. Here's a pipil. Pipil is the Mayan indigenous populations of El Salvador, ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a isote. The isote is the plant, the national plant of El Salvador. I'm Salvadoreña. These are the Venus star symbols. Okay, here's a little snake to represent Ixchel, so she's there. And these birds have a little headband that represents we are all one blood. Right?
Oh, that gives me chills.
Because we are.
Yeah.
And then this is the woman Buddha, right? I wanted to make her to just be on fire. Like, don't mess with me. This is who I am. I'm spiritual. And then for me, it also represents taking all these different forms of spirituality and healing. It's kind of how I just practice. I don't just practice one form of religious or spiritual kind of rituals, right?
Yeah. Very universal. Yeah. So, how does inspiration, creativity, muse interfere with the basic laws of the material you work with? I don't see that as an issue with you.
I thought about that too. I'm like, I don't want to have to follow any laws and rules.
Right.
I follow that every day at work.
Right.
Protocols, regulations, this, that. Art for me it's my healing. You know,
so it's free.
It's free. It's free. I don't want rules.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when I'm painting with kids. There's no rules. Just go. Use your hands. Oh, I also do finger stuff with my own paintings.
You like to get your
dirty.
Yeah.
I like to feel it and smell it.
Yeah.
Although that's kind of bad, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, acrylics have, I think you do have to be careful with materials because remember that our skin is porous. If you're touching these things, they are made out of chemicals and you're going to get them in through your skin and they can affect you.
And I'm messy. I'll show you my painting space. I get paint all over my clothes.
I think what we'll do is I hope to show these paintings in detail. And maybe what I'll do is I'll cut this off and then put them together. Or maybe show them in 2 parts.
Ooh.
That would be good. 2 parts. So, how does it feel to follow the creative path?
Free.
So it represents total freedom.
Free. Balance.
Would you say
love.
Balance?
I feel love.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes me happy. You know? It gives me like happy feelings. Free.
When you're creating, okay.
It's free. I feel free.
And do you have any kind of inkling when you are painting? Are you
like what guides me?
Yes. I didn't want to put words in your mouth. I wanted you to.
What guides me?
Yeah.
Well, spirit, my spirit, my soul, my ancestors. You know.
You feel the connection. With source. Right.
And I always start with the blessing of my space.
Right.
So that I can feel, you know, all those supported.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, I'm like, Mom, are you watching me? I like the thought to feel that she's there.
Oh, that gives me chills.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, I just got them too.
Yeah.
Like when I painted her after she passed for Dia de los Muertos show at Sanchez with Maria, another artist, right?
One of the Maria Sanchez.
Maria. And in my head, I kept remembering, I can hear her voice. do not paint me as a calaca. Do not ever paint me as a calaca. Don't paint me as a calaca. So I didn't paint her as a calaca. I respected her and I put the calacas on the side.
Right. But it's still in honor of her.
Yeah. In honor of her.
Yeah. In a sense, kind of like an altar. In a sense, that's an altar in and of itself, that painting, because it's got all the elements there.
And experiences, like I shared, after coming back from Italy, painting, after coming back from Cancun, from Isla de las Mujeres, and going into the Temescal, all the cleansings, going to, the artist retreat with Alejandra, all that has inspired me. Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone who may be seeking to create, or someone who thinks, I can't draw, I can't paint, I don't have a creative bone in my body, which I hear often. What would you say to someone like that?
I hear clients and parents saying that sometimes. And I've done with them what Monica did. She came over like, here's a canvas, here's some paint. I don't know what to do. She goes, just go, whatever comes to you.
Do you ever find that the blank canvas is intimidating?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very intimidating. But once you put that first stroke of paint, it feels so good. I paint with my grandchildren too.
Oh, that's awesome.
I give them a canvas, and I'll encourage them to, hey, let's drum. Or let's do it with our fingers. Let's dance. And it's so cute just to see what they do with their little fingers or the paintbrushes. Or when they're, banging on the canvas, it sounds like music.
Oh, that's neat. That's really neat. That's really...
Or a heartbeat.
That gives me a good idea to do with my own grandchildren.
Well, it's sensory.
Yes.
And it's good, and children like that.
Yeah.
And you just let them be free.
Yeah. I don't think that we get enough opportunities as children to be totally free. And it's funny because it's when we are children, that's the time when we are just open to everything and wonder of the world and experiences and all that jazz. It's funny how as adults we put our children in a box and say, okay, you got to be this way and you got to act that way and you got to wear this and walk out the door that way.
So, and you just brought up a good point, because you just reminded me being in a box. Growing up when you're growing up in a traditional family, there's values and there's morals, and you got to act this way, you got to do this way. And my paintings, my goddesses and my priestesses, they can do whatever they want. There's no box.
Right. Images like this make people, I can tell you, because I look at your work, they make people feel tranquil, inspired. You inspire other artists, and just, I don't know, just a really good female energy is great. And when you capture it on a canvas, I think that it goes further. And artwork, for anyone, I believe firmly that art is a legacy. So when you have artwork in your home, say you go to your grandparents' house and you go in and there's this painting there that you see every time you go to your grandparents' house.
You remember that feeling.
Yes, that feeling of being with grandma, being with grandpa, and so feeling safe. And that painting then is kept after they're gone and can be passed down generation after generation. So that's what I mean by legacy.
Yeah. I'm leaving my legacy behind.
Exactly.
And I talk about this with my boys. Like,
we
talk about it. Where are they going? As long as they don't end up at a garage sale somewhere,
Right.
Or or down at,
I have picked up
an estate sale.
I have picked up frames with other people's artwork in it, and I feel sad that...
Me too. I have 2 of them in my bedroom. And it's original work, but they're beautiful, and they were just sitting there. They didn't sell at an estate sale, so everything got donated to our local antique thrift shop kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I saw them there, and that's true. It made me sad.
Yeah.
And I bought three.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's amazing.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
I think that when you're putting energy onto a canvas, that energy translates again to the viewer who's looking at it, and it elicits a particular feeling. And that's why people buy artwork. That's why they connect with it. That's why they want to see it in their home every day. And it's so magic when you connect with another human being and they're looking at your work and they're saying, oh, I feel, this makes me feel a certain way.
Or
That's awesome.
also conversation pieces. I like to support artists like yourself. I think I have a few paintings of you, right?
Yeah.
Of yours. They could be conversational pieces, like this one, the latest one that I bought.
Oh yeah.
That's from Pinchy Michi.
Yeah.
That has become a conversational piece.
That's
for
beautiful.
everybody that comes in here. And and it becomes like this whole conversation.
Yeah.
So-
It opens people up.
It does.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're done. Are we done? Is there anything else you'd like to say about your work?
You know what? I had thoughts, but I think it came out in the conversation.
In a natural way.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm so happy that I finally got to interview you.
I know, me too. You know what? It was the right time.
Yeah.
It was the right time.
Yeah, the right space, the right comfort level, I think. So thank you very much for joining us at Chicana Mama. I'm the artist Chicana Mama, and this is Drawing on Spirit, where I've interviewed creative people. And this is Ana Aviles, Ana Guadalupe Aviles. Guadalupe.
Yes.
Guadalupe Aviles.
I do have one thing to share.
Oh.
The reason there will be symbols of La Virgen is because my name is Ana Guadalupe. My parents wanted a little girl. So my dad wanted his little girl, daddy's little girl, right? And so my mom, in those days, you couldn't find out the gender of the babies, right? So she prayed to La Virgen, lit a candle almost every night, because my mom was very religious.
Devout, yeah.
Yeah, like 210, 50%, right? So she promised her if she gives her a little girl, she would name her Ana, after herself. My mom's name is Ana Guadalupe, to honor La Virgen Guadalupe, and that she would take me to the cathedral.
Oh.
It was a manda. Like I promised to take her so you can bless her. So I have a picture and I look so cute. I'm like already like 3 years old and she took me. So that's why there's Virgen images, because that's the number one person in spirit, well, my mom too, that's been with me all along the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So to me, that's like a huge honor.
Yeah.
And that's why it's Arte de la Tonatzin. So my artist name is La Tonatzin, which Esther Hernandez gave me that name.
Oh, that's a beautiful name.
So
love that.
I wanted to share that because it's so important.
And explain, Tonantzin is
La Virgen Guadalupe.
Yeah, exactly. And Tonantzin is an indigenous goddess, and the way the Aztecs would honor her, Tonantzin, under the noses of the Catholic priests, and many cultures syncretize the gods with the Catholic, the Catholic saints, and they are co-creators, co-gods and saints, and that kind of thing.
And even though I'm not religious, like that is like one of the most beautiful, powerful goddesses symbols that will always be, with me. I can still walk into a church because I love the way it feels and smells, the way it feels on my skin.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have her tatted here too.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a new one. I
Yes.
haven't seen that one.
This was done for my 50th year.
Beautiful.
My son did this. My older son.
I'm working on an image of her now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right.
yeah, tatted by my own kids.
The artwork on it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will say goodbye. And
Adios.
I will have her information in the show notes so that you can contact her if you're interested in any of her art. Thank you.
Yay.
Bye.